Welcome to the Steve Stine Guitar Podcast, brought to you by guitarzoom.com. If you want to improve your guitar playing, keep listening. If you want to improve even faster, go to guitarzoom.com, where you'll find all of Steve's premium courses, masterclasses, and memberships that'll help you quickly and easily improve your playing. Now here's your host, Steve Stine.
So if you are out there, go ahead and just throw a chat in there. Let me know that you can see and hear me okay. So happy Monday. We're back, ready for another week here. Looks like Castor is here. Hey, Castor, nice to see you. Jimbo is here. Awesome. Okay, so what we're going to be talking about today is we're going to be talking about picking strategies. When you play, there's a technique or an idea that I always try and teach people, which is thinking about the points in which you're playing something and you get stuck, like your fingers get stuck in the wrong place. And what we want to do today is talk about that a little bit. Hey, Dickie. Hey, Steve. Shandon from Bangladesh is here. That's awesome. Thank you. Terry is here. Awesome. This is great. Well, let's go ahead and get started. So what I find a lot is when you're playing, you might wind up playing a particular thing. Like, let's say you're playing something where you're coming off an idea. And you wind up on your pinky, okay? And you're thinking, okay, so what is it that I have to do next? And so that's what I want to talk about today is when you're picking things, think about the fingering that you're using and think about the picking strategy. Are you using legato or using hammer-ons, pull-offs? Or maybe are you picking everything or trying to pick everything, that sort of thing. So that's what I want to talk about today. So what I'm going to do is go back to an arpeggio that I showed you a while ago if you've been watching these for a while. Hey, Devesh. I'm good, Steve. How are you? And what we're going to do here is I'm going to start off doing this. I'm just going to build from something we did a long time ago where I play this. In E minor, I'm going to go 7, 5, 4. So I'm just playing a triad there, just an E minor triad. And then I'm moving up to the next one, and I'm playing 9, 8, 7. So I'm playing 7, 5, 4, starting from the 5th string, and then I'm playing 9, 8, 7, starting on the 3rd string. Okay, and then I'm just going to end that by going to the 12th fret. So I have... Now, when we talk about picking strategy, we can even just start by talking about this. If you think about what I'm doing, I always think about when I teach people, you're either playing multiple notes on a string, which is what a scale really is. And so you're either picking down or you're picking alternates, or maybe you're using what we call economy picking, where you slice through a string, where you do 2 downs at the same time. There's lots of different ways we can approach this. But what I want you to think about is what's the best way that's going to work for you to be able to execute whatever it is that you're trying to do. So if you think about it, when I play this simple idea of just playing this 3-note arpeggio, just like that, okay? What I'm doing is I'm playing down, 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 and then I'm moving up and playing down, 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 and then I'm playing this last note as an up, because I played the last note down, so my pick is here, so obviously I'm going to want to come back up to play that last note. Now, I could have hammered it or something like this, and there'd be nothing wrong with that. That's the most important thing I want you to understand, is that when you're playing, the most important thing is you figure out what's going to work best for you for picking. But I want to get more involved in this than just this. This is the template that we're working off. So, hey, Tally, let me say hello to a couple more people here, find who we've got. Christoph is here. Redzuan, I apologize if I'm not saying that correctly. Michael is here. Awesome. Joseph is here. Dana is here. All right, so let's keep going. Hey, Steve. Sebastian is here. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add in another little segment to this. So instead of just going like this, what we're going to do is we're going to add a lick to this idea. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this. Okay, so I'm adding in this note right here, which is the D, which is the minor 7th if you know anything about your theory, and if you don't, it's okay. So if I wanted to play that note right there, I probably would play that with an up because I just played these downs. So again, my pick is down here, so I'm probably going to naturally play it as an up. And I can do the same thing right there as well. Okay? But let's take this a step further. Let's say we wanted to create something where we're going to create repetition in our lick. I hope you're enjoying this episode so far and you're getting motivated to take your guitar playing to the next level. Please do me a favor and leave us a rating on Apple Podcasts. It'll help the show grow and reach more rock stars like you who want to improve their guitar playing. Also, I'd love to know what parts of the episode you liked, as well as what you learned, so please share this podcast and tag us at guitarzoom.com on your social post. And now, let's get back to the podcast. So we got this together. We start doing this. And if you have your guitar handy, try this out and let me know what you're thinking and what works best for you. And if you don't, you can certainly comment later and we can chat about it as well. But what I'm doing here is I'm taking this idea of these 4 notes, my root third, fifth, and my minor seventh, and then I'm just going to start rotating playing these 3 notes. So I have. Now, coming out of that is something else we're going to talk about, but just thinking about that, what I'm doing is playing down, 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 up, and then down, down, up, down, down, up. That's how it's happening for me. Down, down, up, down, down, up. Okay, so I'm playing 2 downs and then I'm playing that up. And really what I'm trying to do is place my guitar pick on the proper space up here or down here relative to what's coming next. All right, so as I do this, you see that? And we could do the same thing up here if we wanted to. You see that? Okay, so as I'm playing this, I'm deciding how I want to pick this. I wouldn't have to pick all those. Maybe I want to go, and I want to do that one as a hammer-on every time at the end of that. This is your picking strategy. That's what I want you to get out of this, is trying to figure out what's the best way of doing this. Sometimes people will tell you, well, you're supposed to pick everything, and then people will tell you, well, you should do legato, and I'm old enough to where I've gone through the trends where everybody did legato and then everybody did picking and then everybody did legato again and now everybody's back on picking. I think the most important thing is figuring out what works best for you. I remember hearing an interview with George Lynch, if you know who George Lynch is, where he was talking about how he had developed his technique with Dokken and everything like that. The new players came out with Malmsteen and all these guys, and everybody was picking everything, and then he was like, well, I suppose I better figure this out. So he spent all this time trying to learn how to pick everything, ultimately realizing it really wasn't his gig. That wasn't the way that he played. And then after all that time of trying to retrain himself, he just realized, hey, I play the way I play, and this is what I do. And that's really important for you to do as well, is figuring out what's the best way that works for you when you're trying to play. So now we're going to throw a wrench in this. It's going to get a little bit harder though, okay? So what we're going to do now is I'm going to play this. I'm going to start with the same thing. But this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop down back to the 4th string and I'm going to play 4-5. Instead of just playing 7-5-4, 7, and then 5-4-7 repeating like that, I'm going to play 7-5-4, 7, but then I'm going to play 4-5-4-7. And again, if you don't have your guitar with you, just got to kind of visualize what I'm doing here. So that's what I have now, kind of 2 different licks rolled into one. Now let me show you the problem with this. If I play down, 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 up, okay, that works pretty well, because that sends my pick back up here to get ready for that 4 that's coming up. So then what I would probably do is I would wind up playing this 4, and then maybe hammering to this 5, and then this 4, and hammering to this 7. So that would be one option. Because that hammer-on then gives me time to start all over. But see, it's that last note that was going to give us a problem if we decided to repeat this. You see, because we're up here, so we got to get back. And the problem is the pinky is already in use. You see, so that's going to make it very difficult to try and start all over again. So that's something else we need to be thinking about, is the fingering that we're using and what we would have to do. Hey, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and make sure that you tune in tomorrow for the next part of this episode. And as always, stay positive and keep playing. If you enjoyed today's podcast and want to learn guitar even faster, go to guitarzoom.com and click the Get Started button to get access to courses that are right for your interest and skill level. Again, go to guitarzoom.com and click the Get Started button.